John Smith, time governor of Virginia, was born in Lincolnshire, England, in the year 1579. The son of a well-to-do tenant farmer, he attended the free school in the nearby village of Alford. But the Latin lessons, inherited from a dark past, must have seemed unbearably dull. For we know by his own account that at the age of 13,
he sold his satchel, books, and all he had, intending secretly to get to sea.
Secretly to get to sea. This was the dream of many an English yeoman's son. The age of colonization was dawning. France had vast claims in the New World. Canada, the Great Lakes country, the Mississippi Valley. Spain was exploiting the incredible wealth of Peru and Mexico. But England had little to show for her effort. Although many an expedition had dropped down from London, in 1603, 15 years after the defeat of the Spanish Armada, there was still no permanent English colony in America. But in spite of failures, England's colonial fever had in no wise abated, and London was at the very center of the latest scheme, to plant a colony in Virginia. To London in 1603 came John Smith, now Captain John Smith.
And cheerfully at sea, success you still entice to get the pearl and gold. The pearl and gold. Gentlemen, untold riches lie before us.
And untold hard work, I warrant.
That none of us doubt, Captain Newport. But rest content on this score. We have able men, you, our mariner, to transport us to fruitful Virginia. Master Gosnold here, whose dream it was to plant this colony. And, if I may say so myself, gentlemen, I have no little experience as an administrator.
Hear, hear.
Ah, and we have, gentlemen, our redoubtable soldier, Captain John Smith. Though young, very young in years, has already covered himself with glory fighting the infidel Turk. I believe you know everyone here, Captain Smith?
Captain Newport, how are you, sir? Master Gosnell. But I do not know this gentleman.
This is Master Gabriel Archer, a worthy gentleman who has just joined our ranks.
I see. And I suppose you've told Master Archer of the other worthy gentlemen in our ranks? The wastrels, the soft-handed, superfluous sons of small squires and the like.
You consider them unfit for this undertaking, Captain?
Many of them.
I suppose you consider a lawyer unfit, Captain. Myself, for example.
I trust that you are fit, Master Archer. For there will be no taverns where we are going, and no friendly innkeepers. And a savage arrow can kill just as readily as any musket ball.
Hear, hear, Captain. But come away with this melancholia. Gentlemen, a toast. Ours to hold, Earth's only paradise, Virginia.
Virginia. Virginia.
Gentlemen, I know not how to address you on this momentous occasion. Tomorrow, you set all sail for the New World. Would that I were going with you, but unfortunately, some must stay behind to care for matters in this quarter. So be it. You know well your purposes in this venture. I need not rehearse them now. However, two there are which you must not slight in your brave efforts to establish the plantation and to seek treasure. They be these. Firstly, to search for the lost colonists sent out by Sir Walter Raleigh. More than 100 English souls who disappeared into that wilderness, leaving not a rack behind. And secondly, to search out that elusive passage to the Indies. This above all, to search out the Northwest Passage. And lastly, have I covered all matters?
The box, my lord.
Oh, yes, of course, the box. This box, gentlemen, contains the names of the 8 men we have selected to be the ruling members of the colony. This box, gentlemen, this box is not to be opened until Virginia is reached.
It is not a work for everyone to plant a colony, but there is a great difference between saying and doing.
Thus wrote John Smith sometime later. But he must have voiced equally unpopular opinions early in the voyage, for it is certain that from the day of sailing he made many enemies. Enemies who, as the expedition left the Canary Islands for the West Indies, plotted not only to deprive him of his reputation, but of his life.
Inasmuch as by his devious plottings and intrigues he hath intended from the first to usurp the government, murder the leaders of the expedition, and make himself king of the New World, sentence hath been duly passed upon Captain John Smith that he shall be hanged by the neck until dead. Has the prisoner anything to say before this sentence is carried out?
The prisoner must have had much to say indeed, but history has left us only Smith's very brief account of the incident.
Here, on the island of Nevis, a pair of gallows was made, but Captain Smith, for whom they were intended, could not be persuaded to use them.
Land! Land! Ho!
April 26, 1607. The coast of Virginia was sighted.
Gentlemen, the members of the council, Master Edward Maria Wingfield, Captain Bartholomew Gosnold, Captain John Ratcliffe, Master George Kendall, Captain John Martin, and Captain John Smith.
May 13, 1607. A site for the colony was selected, 40 miles up the James River estuary, and called Jamestown. Soon thereafter, crude shelters were thrown up. But the council president had strict orders against building fortifications.
Remember, men, there shall be no exercise at arms, nor any fortifications built. We must not offend the savages by shows of hostility.
Yes, Master Wingfield.
The 6th of August, 1607, died George Flower of a wound given by the savages. The 9th day, there died John Asby of the bloody flicks. Our men are being destroyed with cruel diseases of swellings, flixes, burning fevers, and by wars. But for the most part, they're dying of mere famine.
What is the meaning of this, Captain Smith?
The meaning is quite clear to me, President Wingfield.
These provisions came from my private store.
Others who brought private provisions from England have long since turned them over to the common storehouse.
That does not concern me.
Very well, Master Wingfield. From this moment forward, you're relieved of such vexations.
What mean you by that, Captain Smith?
I mean, Master Archer, that by unanimous vote of the council, we have deposed Master Wingfield as president.
You cannot do that to me.
I think we can. And what is more, when the Susan Constant arrives from England, we mean to send you back.
Captain Smith,
For months you refused to allow fortifications, We paid dearly for your follies.
I was under orders from the council in London.
The council in London knows nothing of our problems in Virginia. You wasted our energies in searching for gold and pearls.
I had my orders!
You should never have followed those orders! By doing so, you so reduced this colony that those of us still left alive are scarce able to bury the dead.
Very well, I agree. I think we should abandon this colonizing attempt.
Abandon? No, Master Wingfield. Jamestown shall not be abandoned. Now, Captain Smith, in that desperate extremity, went to search the country for trade. For nothing could persuade him to starve, either himself or his men.
Smith seldom returned empty-handed from his many trading expeditions. And even his worst enemies agreed that the corn which he brought back saved the colonists from starvation. With the storehouses at Jamestown now well stocked, Smith set the colonists to work. For he was determined that each man in the colony must abide by one law.
He that will not work shall not eat. The winter departed and spring come, Smith left the fort to perform his discovery.
Smith and his companions made many discoveries in unknown Virginia. And though he was never to find that elusive passage to the Indies, he was to travel thousands of miles, carefully mapping the surrounding territories. But on one of these expeditions, traveling inland for some considerable distance with only his Indian guide,
And so, having been ready with their clubs to beat out his brains, Pocahontas, the king's dearest daughter, got his head in her arms and laid her own upon his to save him from death. Now in Jamestown they were all in combustion. Some, no better than they should be, had plotted against him.
Plots had gone forward against Smith in his absence, but upon his return, he took swift action against the chief plotter, his old enemy, Gabriel Archer, and
laid him by the heels till he sent him prisoner for England.
But the same ship which was to take Archer back had brought impossible orders from the council in London.
Come in.
Captain Newport, I've prepared my answer for the fine gentlemen of the London Company. You can tell them that I'll carry out their fantastical orders to find gold, to find Raleigh's lost colonists, to make pitch and tar and glass and soap. Tell them I'll carry these out once I've made this colony self-supporting. And to do that I need workmen. carpenters, masons, farmers, diggers up of trees, honest workmen, not lazy gentlemen and wastrels.
The reply from the London Company was not long in reaching Virginia. Fair winds had borne the Susan Constant back, and with it the Council's reply to Smith's rude answer.
Captain Smith.
Archer.
My dear Captain Smith, it seems it has fallen to my lot to inform you that you are deposed. It seems the London Company has, at long last, been reorganized. My Lord Delaware is on his way this very moment with 9 ships, 500 colonists, and you, Captain Smith, are hereby deposed.
You have letters to this effect?
Letters will arrive with my Lord Delaware.
Then we shall await my Lord Delaware. There are some 30 old colonists left alive, Master Archer. And they've been through much. Burning fevers and starvation, the terror of Indian attacks and the deaths of their dearest friends. They're afraid of nothing, and they're behind me to a man. And until Delaware arrives with official orders, I am still president of this colony. And if you try any of your scandalous tricks, I'll have you hanged by the heels, just as you once tried to hang me by the neck. But mark me well, Archer. I will not fail.
But soon thereafter, returning from an expedition up the James River to discover a new site for the colony, Smith was grievously wounded by a gunpowder explosion.
Did Archer see us?
Yes, Captain. He's out there now with his jackals.
Let's hang him down and get it over with. No.
But he's command.
Delaware will arrive soon. He'll take command. And I must go back to England.
England?
I need a surgeon now to mend this excavation, or I'm done for. My work is finished now in Virginia.
And so, in October of 1609, after more than 2 years in the Virginia wilderness, Captain John Smith returned to England. But his work had counted. He had explored and mapped the Virginia wilderness. He had held the colony together, setting an example for those to follow. For without his leadership, the winter after he left became the starving time. And the greatest tribute to John Smith was written by one of the pitifully few survivors.
What shall I say? But that we lost him, that in all his proceedings made justice his first guide, experience his second. That upon no danger would send us where he wouldn't lead us himself. That would never see us want what he either had or could by any means get us. Whose adventures were our lives, and whose loss our deaths.